Short,
Hey,
sweet.
one of my favorite guests is with us today. Phillip Oldridge is the CEO of a company called Envirotech Vehicles. They are publicly traded under the stock symbol EVTV, and it's really, really cool because of what they have going. They are a transportation industry leading provider and manufacturer of purpose-built, all-electric, zero-emission vehicles. So we're talking about EVs in the bus, truck, business category, commercial category.
Any sort of delivery.
Last mile fleets.
Yes.
Schools, public and private transportation. I don't know if they have dump trucks, but it'd be cool if they did.
Wouldn't be shocked.
It's electric Tonka, right?
Now that would be awesome.
EV.
Oh, please.
Tonka V.
Yes.
So the T stands for Tonka truck. He is the CEO of the company. Of course, stock symbol is EVTV. I give you the world traveler, Phillip Oldridge. Phil, how are you, sir? Good to talk to you, man. Good to see you. Are you in the States now? Are you in Canada? Are you in Singapore? Are you in the Philippines? Where are you? Because you're everywhere at every single day.
Yeah, so I just got back from Singapore, and currently I'm in Vancouver, Canada, in British Columbia.
So talk about what's going on, because every time I look up at your website or your press releases, I see something new, and you're executing faster than almost any company I've ever seen. Talk about what's been going on.
Yeah, well, and thanks for that. We've been very, very busy. So I just got back from Singapore. We got invited. It started out a few months ago. I got invited to speak on a stage on a platform over there on clean energy. And then while I was there, through various meetings and a number of discussions, I ended up working with the Land Transportation Authority. And before you knew it, we got engaged with a couple of clients. So I got invited back, and I just returned 48 hours ago. And while I was there, we signed a rather substantive contract for EVTV. We're super excited about that. And so we have not press released it yet, but we're about to, so you'll be the first to know. So, but we just signed a contract for 500 school buses.
My goodness. Boy, that's a big number. Wait a second. How long does it take for you to manufacture 500 school buses?
Well, I mean, if literally you could do that in a matter of 5 or 6 months if you wanted to.
Wow.
So, but the order itself will be over approximately 30 months. It will be the period of time, and so the first 50 of those 500 go into production in the next, I'd say within the next 30 days. We're just finalizing the details on how to structure it all and how it's going to go. But yeah, so within the next 30 days we start. And the first deliveries of those 500 will be happening sometime next July.
Hey, Phil, I got to ask you, with respect to you think about electric school buses, first thing I think about is mandate. The minute any city hears about this, zero emission, there's got to be a mandate on the way. Any whispers of that here in the U.S.? I mean, I know there's lots of whispers abroad and over in many different countries, but I got to talk about the U.S. here, because that would be life-changing for you and your investors.
Yeah. So, and speaking of which, that very mandate was just signed. So there is basically a multi-billion-dollar, federal funding that's being released. That the first billion is already been announced. And so there's a number of school boards right now and a number of school districts and various townships and stuff that are applying for that grant money, and that grant money will be awarded next October. So we as a company have been very, very busy. And so just on U.S. soil, I can share with you right now that we have a full-time grant writer on our team, and we've been working with a number of school boards and school districts. And so although they are not what we call solid orders yet, because they have to obviously win the grant or be successful in obtaining the grant, but we have committed in committed orders already over 300 school buses on the U.S. side.
I've got to ask, what vertical, what category is growing the fastest? Is it the municipal stuff like schools and colleges and universities? Is it the heavy duty stuff? Is it the service stuff? Is it the the last mile fleets? Is everything going at the same time?
Well, I think things are sort of going at the same time. Everybody, of course, is, the whole industry over the last year or so has been focused on the last mile delivery, the Amazons of this world and things like that. And so we're doing very well there, much sort of, to our dismay, and primarily really my own fault, I was never really one for getting out there and pushing all the advertising around what we were doing and how we were doing. I spent our time building and designing and securing vehicles and homologating. But so unlike most, we don't have a skateboard. We have actual vehicles on the road, and now we're playing catch up. People are starting to find out who we are. So, but yeah, we're selling a lot of our vans now that you see right there. Most recently, today, I just released, or we're about to release, send out a couple we've just built and shipped and sold. They're already sold. They never even got off the floor yet, but our first aviation fuel trucks. And so we've joint venture with a company, and we've built those av fuelers already, and they're already sold. They're being the first one's being delivered next week to an airport here in the U.S., and the second one is on its way to a show in Texas. And right after the show is over, it'll be delivered. So we're seeing a lot of that. We're seeing a lot of delivery trucks, our larger trucks that are coming. So yeah, I think that it's all starting to go at once. So we're getting very excited,
Phil, I got to ask you, if you think in terms of everything going on, with what you're doing, and any idea of whether you guys would move over into the regular automobile industry, so Johnny Lunchbucket and Cindy CEO could buy a car? Is there any sort of designs on that in the future, or you want to stay in your lane here, no pun intended, in the commercial space?
Well, I think that at the end of the day, it would be foolish to turn down business, but if I was to to be honest and stuff like that, I think it's, I've got a real responsibility to our company and our shareholders to stay focused, to stay in the lane that we're in, and keep heading down that path. So the last mile delivery vehicles, the commercial side of it, commercial school buses, that's really where we want to be. And so in the future, could we want to branch out? Sure. But I think we really need to focus on where we're at right now. We're a small company, as you know, and we have a tremendous amount of our money and our resources into those areas. Yeah. And it's taken us a while to develop it, and we're there now, and we're making those deliveries. So I think we're going to just stay focused on sales and deliveries and just stay in that lane for a while.
Hey, Phil, by the way, Phil Oldridge is our guest, CEO of a company called Envirotech Vehicles. They are publicly traded under the stock symbol EVTV. There's their website, evtusa.com for our radio audience internationally. We'll put their website up on our website so you can catch it along with this interview. Phil, last question for you. What's the range? Because that's what you look at. So I'm looking at, everybody's looking at an EV.
Yeah.
Like everybody's interested in it. That's kind of cool. Like the new Rivian truck and SUV, super cool looking. Obviously, Tesla's a beautiful car.
It seems like everybody asks, will it get me across the country?
All I want to know is
how long is it going to take me?
And then how long not on the side of the road?
Right.
Plugging it in. My daughter McKenna has I forget the name of it, but she's got one that runs on gas and or
hybrid. And
it's kind of cool. It just plugs into the wall because they got some sort of a transformer thing that goes into what looks like her gas tank. And she's had the car for 2 years, had one tank of gas so far.
Oh,
she's happy as heck. I mean, she couldn't be happier. What's the range on these things? And in the future, that's probably not even going to be a question, I'm assuming, because it comes down to battery health. But talk about that just for a second.
Sure. Well, that's a great question. It's sort of like asking, how hungry are you? Right?
Me? So it can go as long as you want. Okay.
Exactly right. So specifically in our area of expertise and in our field, like in last mile delivery, school buses and things like that, I guess the real question is, what's the requirement? And most of our routing requirements are right at 100 miles a day or less. In other words, a school bus goes out in the morning, like kids aren't on school buses for hours and hours and hours. So they go out, they come back. And last mile delivery is, your guy that runs around, dropping off parcels all day. So he's kind of stop and go, stop and go, stop and go. So they're out for long hours, but not lots of miles.
Right.
So the average range for us is right at 170 miles or 300 kilometers.
Yeah.
And which is absolutely perfect, And so, but can we extend it more? Can we build a vehicle that can go 300 miles? Sure. Can we build it? Yeah, absolutely. But do you need it? There's no sense in paying for all that battery and carrying around all that weight when you don't need it. So right now, we always ask everybody, what are your needs? And
how hungry are you? That's your next billboard, Phil. How hungry are you? Envirotech Vehicles, EVTV. Thanks, buddy. We'll see you very soon. All righty. Big Biz Show. BigBizShow.com. Go check out their website. Super cool.